Cashmere is considered to be one of the softest and most comfortable wools that can be used for clothing, but it's also one of the most expensive, and here's why. Cashmere doesn't come from sheep like you might expect, it comes from goats. Yes, goats, those smelly coarse-haired cousins of sheep that like hanging around remote hillsides. The secret to a really good crop of cashmere is the goat's undercoat. They only produce this downy underhair in certain parts of the world where the climatic conditions are cold enough to encourage its growth. Like eiderdown from ducks, this hair is produced to insulate the goat, but what makes it so special is its structure. The overcoat is made up of thick, coarse hair. Seen up close under a microscope, it would appear quite jagged and rough. This is the complete opposite of the undercoat, which is far smoother. It's what gives cashmere its soft texture and makes it so much more comfortable against the skin. It isn't easy collecting the wool because the goats really don't like having their hair pulled, but once a crop has been collected, it's sent off to the local mill to be turned into cloth. No, this isn't the latest way to wear cashmere. These workers are experts and know what to do with the fresh wool. First, it needs to be blended. Every goat's wool is a different shade, so by mixing them together, the factory gets an even colour throughout the batch. It then takes a bit of a journey through this old machine. This process is known as carding. Combs brush the wool so that it all runs in a similar direction, and the separate strands bind into a big felt-like cloth. The sheet of wool that emerges from the far end of this row of rollers is taken down to the next stage of the process to be spun into thread. In this form, the thread is very soft to the touch, but it's also very weak. It needs to be spun again. This last stage strengthens the fibre, and 1 kilo of wool can now produce over 6,000 meters of cashmere thread. The UK can only boast around 50 cashmere producers with a total of about 2,500 goats in all. Most of the cashmere used in the UK for clothing production is imported. Like the old cloth mills of the Industrial Revolution, the cashmere is woven on a loom. Experienced hands load up the shuttles with fresh wool, ready to start the knitting process. And although it is an old machine, it's faster than the human eye can follow. This kind of loom is a very old design, but very effective for weaving cloth. A high-speed shuttle, which was pre-loaded with wool, is passed very quickly back and forth between 2 rows of threads. The thread from the shuttle works like a scaffolding structure to bind the other threads around. It takes the wool from 3 goats and 4 hours on one of these machines to weave a scarf. But if you want to make a sweater, you'll need the wool from about 6 goats. The only thing that remains for the traditional cashmere scarf is the loose tassels at the ends. This is something the machines can't do, but there are plenty of spare hands to help tie knots and give the scarves their famous look. So the next time you wrap that soft cashmere scarf round your neck, spare a thought for the softer side of the old billy goat gruff.